interesting is that I almost think, yes, you're probably not going to get away with the blood splatter and get your PG or your G rating. What I find almost shocking is that you could diminish his actions to an extent if McDonald, who is our voice of reason as a human, simply called out to him, what are you doing? You know, something he needs to, there's no reaction from anybody. It's just bang. And it's like, everybody's like, okay, they're shooting the apes. We need to see McDonald trying to stop him. Escalate that discussion. I think that it's a very powerful thing. I think the movie needs Breck to shoot. I think that is the correct thing to do. When you don't question his behavior, you're not taking the message, which is, who's more brutal now, the human or the ape? You know, he's the one gunning these people down point blank and holding it to them. But we need to be questioning that so that when we eventually get the apes in the room, now we definitely are looking at who's the more civil, or have both sides lost their humanity, ape manity.
It would have been fascinating to have McDonald jump in somehow, either to calm the gorilla and pull the guard off the gorilla and have Breck push him out of the way to then shoot the gorilla, or McDonald jump in and try and stop Breck, and Breck shoves McDonald to the side, then shoots the gorilla.
Or if he points the gun at McDonald. Once again, we've got the whole direct correlation to, you've got an African-American man as this right-hand man who's also the most logical human. If you point a gun, you wanted to directly link these to the riot footage. Now you're all but doing that.
It would also... Or Breck pulls the gun and gives it to McDonald to shoot the ape.
Sure.
And he tried, McDonald, I can't do it. And then Breck takes it and does it.
Right. And then they go.
I won't do it.
Then he gives the permission to the apes to gun down.
Let's be quite honest. From what we've seen in previous footage, Breck and the guards should have shot and missed all the apes, and then the apes should have just taken them over.
True.
It should have been over at that point. Bang, bang. Why am I not hitting them? Yeah,
Lord.
Roger.
Back to it again.
Before we get into Breck's,
I want to get into Breck's
rant here. I don't know if you noticed behind him, there's an ape that's still alive that's being wrestled with. I believe that's Lisa, to justify what's going to happen in a minute or two. They made sure that there's still an ape up there. Why would she not be down there with the rest of them getting executed?
Because she's a girl and we need her not to be hurt.
She's pretty. She's soft. You can't hurt her.
For all of her being still in this command room, we do lose her for this moment. I forget that she's there. I forget that she's bald.
Because you only see her for a second and then she's behind. Oh, wait, hang on a second. So I'm going back to look at it. There's something very strange. So all the apes are shot. Breck goes up there. Lisa's behind him. And then when they cut to the close of Breck ranting, there is a red arm that raises up behind him and strikes down. That could only be a gorilla.
Out of nowhere.
That
gorilla came out of nowhere.
Dressed in red.
That's a good point.
Humans aren't dressed in red. Yeah, only the gorillas are dressed in red. So I don't know what
was happening behind what they.
Maybe that rant was supposed to be before all this happened, and so the apes were still behind him fighting, and they pulled him down. That's just weird concept.
Yeah, if his rant happens. And that's what causes the gorilla to start the trouble, but it's still behind. Still behind him. Yeah, he's wrestling with Lisa, or guard is kind of wrestling with Lisa a little bit behind him.
And then all of a sudden you see orange arms.
Then you see arms, like goodness, like
I had magic that till now.
Well, if the magic gorilla had come up underneath Breck and we didn't see it, and to free Lisa. I mean, that's...
Or if you saw that arm come up and you saw a human arm go up to grab it, at least that would be something. But
we never saw that yet. We never saw where that ape came
just
from.
Attacking somebody behind.
Yeah, magic gorilla transportation.
The survivor, yes. Anyway, you want to talk about the rant now?
Yeah. So to set this up, we get this moment of popping a cap in the gorilla's ass. Then we go to the beginnings, and you can tell Dane wrote a lot of the speech, and Richard, you can tell us if they go off script or not, but it feels, once you begin hearing what he says, it feels very Dane-esque. and I this covers into tomorrow as well. I want to say that the words they're saying, I think, are spot on for what needs to be said. It's powerful. It's interesting. This just all feels, the staging of it when we get to the speech, to me, feels like there's no escalation to getting there. Even though there's chaos and he's doing these things, there's not enough to propel him. So the speech itself, do you want to read that real quick?
Yeah, sure. Well, I made a point yesterday when we were talking about what the command center is, and McDonald basically clarifies it's a communication center. There is no defense here. Just before we get into the speech, right? So he is basically saying, "Hey, this is not a command post."
We should have heard that a long time ago.
It's a communication center. There's no defense here. Yeah, we should have heard that a while ago to understand exactly what situation they're in and why they're just running downstairs to get into this communication center. As opposed, they call it a command center, but McDonald clarifies for it that it's not defended. It's not like a post, but Caesar knows that this is where to go to either get to Brett.
Yeah, he's been in there. Yeah, he's worked
get to the city, or maybe he's going there to save Lisa. I don't know. Like, what's he going in there for? Anyway, he says
Brett's in there. That's where he's going.
Anyway, Brett goes from 0 to 100 in 1 second and goes,
"Step on the gas.
If we lose this battle, it's the end of the world as we know it." All right. Again, we haven't set up this world for me well enough to know if it's the end of the world. We will have proved ourselves weak, inferior. And all these groveling cowards alive when the battle is over will be the weakest of all. So he's trying to motivate his troops, right, to fight to the death. This will be the end of the human civilization and the world as we and the world will belong to a planet of the apes.
So
this will be the end of the human civilization and the world will belong to a planet of the apes.
When I listened to that speech last night while watching the minute a couple of times. That's why I came up with that thing in my head of we should have had McDonald question the shooting. He should have swung around and pointed the gun at him whenever he gave this speech, so that it's almost like this is why I'm doing it. And then even McDonald either puts the gun down or then the door bursts open or something. But his escalation to this point, it's a great speech. He has no reason to be saying this without the context of the internal conflict of we shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be behaving this. If he's questioned like that, then that speech means something.
Yeah, you didn't have somebody go, "Why, sir? Why are we doing this?" Nobody's challenging him. Nobody's bringing up counter arguments. Yeah,
and we're in a room full of people with nice turtlenecks on. I mean,
what would have been funny?
Well, no, but I mean, he's not. There's no. Who's he? His audience is to inspire all the League of Turtlenecks to rise up and battle these apes to the death.
Right.
The speech is lost on who it's being given to. It's to the audience about what Brecht's purpose is.
Ding.
I need a reason for it, particularly because he starts pounding the table with his finger.
I wanted Brecht giving his St. Crispin's Day speech. You know, we're going to be brothers battling together and all that. Stand with me against these dirty apes. And then you all of a sudden just see him get shot in the shoulder and fall down, and McDonald's standing there just like, "Fuck you."
That's a great point, though. Those kind of speeches, Sean, in any kind of film are to a specific group of people for a reason. And to Richard's point, the only people he's giving the speech to is the audience, so they'll understand it. But you can make that speech work if you flip and he has a reason to be saying it. It's just... it's a failure to connect the two scenes. I lament that they cut out the capping of the gorilla, because I do think that's vastly important. It almost makes me want to go back and watch the theatrical cut that Richard's watching and see if this is even worse of a.
And maybe that's why for me it felt like he went from. Maybe that's why for me it felt like he went from 0 to 100.
Hit the gas,
all of a sudden for the speech got to at this moment, because he hadn't just shot somebody and has the tension and the adrenaline rushing in his system. But I don't know. He's not speaking to anybody in the room, because he said all these groveling cowards alive at the end of this battle. He's referencing the League of Turtlenecks in the room with him, right? He's trying to inspire them to do something. I don't know what. However, when you get to a line like "this will be the end of the human civilization and the world will belong to Planet of the Apes," almost kind of a defining line for a film or a moment. This evokes
that's a trailer moment.
Correct, and it's something you'd get from Heston's couple of lines in the first couple of movies and kind of bring forward. It's one that would be
It's
repeated.
a madhouse. It's a Planet of the Apes. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So and this was not in the script. Now, the next bit of dialogue tomorrow in minute, that is actually whatever happens. That is actually in script. Dane has it going from taking over the command center to tomorrow's minute.
Okay.
This whole thing here was not really there, which is why the speech may seem a little kind of important but thrown in.
I think we'd all agree that the moment in and of itself, everything that needs to happen probably needs to happen. Let's have our leader kill people. He's going maniacal. He's going crazy. If it would just construct a little bit better. But that I agree with you guys that this monologue, this speech, it may be the most important bit of dialogue of the whole film to encapsulate what is at stake for this world. And it just misses its mark, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I mean, I do like this. If we lose this battle, it's the end of the world as you know it.
Yeah.
And we've long talked about how we don't know what reality this city is in.
What the rest of the world is like.
What the rest of the world, how isolated it is, how important the struggle is, anything like that. But for Breck, it is. So something has happened to catapult this moment.
For all we know, this is like a pilot program that they're doing in this city. It's not going on anywhere else. So he's just pissed off that if this is over, I don't get to be the boss anymore because I have to go back to my job at Walgreens.
I'm going to lose the election and have to go back.
And I might be prosecuted for all my crimes.
Oh, by the way, when this hits, we'll probably know the results of that. So, wow, interesting.
that's a very specific political reference.
I don't think you guys are exactly missing the mark on your political reference to begin with. So anyway. I think that's it. Minute 78. We'll come back tomorrow. Minute 79. We'll hit a lot more of this same type thing, like Richard said, the dialogue, etc. So let's wrap this one up. Let's move on. Let's jump to 79. Everybody have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
The Minute of the Apes.